What up, Buzz? You tapped in? Okay, Goose, you tapped in too? All right, Chicago, y'all tapped in? All right, boys, let's crack 'em. Feel like Mike in the fourth with the ball in my hands and I'm taking a shot. I'm the king in the madhouse on Madison, whether I make it or not. Now the crowd going crazy, they watching the play and I'm watching the clock. Got my shot in the air and the buzzer go off and I'm watching it drop. This team did things. MJ shot City 6 rings. D-Rose too big, too fast, too strong. History, and we good on that. Put Jilla on the track and we good on whack. 3, 2, 1. Everybody say Bulls on tap. Bulls on tap. Our city pretty and gritty. Benny the bull in the crowd getting hyper and litty. Me, I'm so drippy, it's slippery. Nothing offends me. Banners on banners, we winners. We got the stats in the news. Go and subscribe. Hang out with Buzzy and Goose. Tapping with us, we the truth. Jilla just murdered the booth.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bulls on Tap. I'm your boy Buzz. I'm joined by my dude Goose, and we're just here to shoot the shit again. One of those episodes where we're just shooting the shit. We're probably going to have a guest tonight before Goose has to run out. This is a very informal episode, so I'll spare you my whole spiel before I usually get into a postgame. The only thing I will say is be sure to run on tapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter, you already know where to do that. Also, we're presented by Sports Illustrated Media Group. Goose, Saturday, I take full responsibility for missing that show. I will tell you why. My cousins came over, and I've not seen them in over a year, and I put a picture on Facebook thinking, oh my God, how great is this picture? Until the next day I looked at it, and I was just sauced. Absolutely sauced.
Buzz, sauced? No.
I know. Fucking, it's a damn shame, isn't it? But Senior asks off the bat, are the Bulls back? And Goose, I want you to talk about that game on Saturday a little bit, man. What'd you think of that?
You know, I want to say the Bulls are back. I want to do it, but given the performance up till the fourth quarter, kind of makes it a little difficult. The Bulls led the game 2-0 to start out and then did not lead until that fourth quarter. They did not relinquish the lead at that point, but it was kind of a tough game to watch until that fourth.
Yeah, I was not having fun.
Definitely had that. The Bulls are getting swept by one of the worst teams in the league. Feel to it the whole game for just about everybody but Zach LaVine. Zach has been on a tear since the All-Star break that continued with a near 40 burger against the Rockets. He damn sure seems to turn up against these trash teams, which is odd. If your best player performs well, you think everybody else would follow suit, but that doesn't tend to be the case. Big game for Patrick Beverley returning to the house that made him in Houston, being the first team to give him a shot in the NBA. Had him talking smack to his old crowd, hit a couple of big threes, grabbed a couple of offensive boards, and then obviously the defensive tenacity that you expect from him. But that unexpected three-point shooting kind of ended up being the winning factor for the Bulls.
32 attempts in the win against the Rockets, which is 28, 33, 130. Count with my fingers again. It's 4. It's 4 more than it usually is, man. Yes, let's go.
Nice. Let's go. And I think DeMar actually hit a couple too.
He did. He had 2.
Yeah. That in itself is a miracle.
I really liked how you talked about Zach because I felt like that's a perfect segue. I wrote an article today, selfish plug, over at ontapsportsnet.com, about I guess I kind of took your tone, really, which is surprising because we agree on a lot of things. Obviously that's what really builds friendships in the get-go. Like we have a lot of similar outlooks. Our era of basketball watching is the same, so we relate there. But you have never really been a guy that I guess has taken Zach LaVine out and said, I'm done, move him. You've always kept like a reservation. And where I was when we were getting our asses whipped in the, during the whole season and just being bad, I was a fire sale, like just be done with it. And I never really took the time to hear from you. And I always, I don't want you to think that let me reword that. I considered what you said.
Just tone me up, bro.
No, man. No, I'm not trying to do that, man. Don't say that. No, Drew said this too. I wonder if it's that injury, man. I just wonder if he's working his way back. And of course I come out of anger spiraling back. He's always hurt. It's always something. It's the hand. It's a thumb. It's a finger. It's a fucking knee. It's always something, right? This dude's healthy right now, and he's a problem. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, wow, recency bias really, I got to sit down and make sure I write this down, like to remember what I'm seeing right now. He's doing it against good teams too. He's balling.
We obviously beat Denver.
Right. I mean, he's
which
balling.
we talked about.
So I don't know if I've retracted my statement fully, and I put that in the article about the fire sale that I want this offseason. But what I will say is he's making it damn hard to justify that opinion if he's going to keep playing like that.
So, and I guess my thing with that is what is Zach's motivation? Obviously, he takes a vacation on the All-Star break, not playing in the game, not participating in any of the events this year. Comes back, seems to have his mind right, but what is his mind on? Is it on getting his value up to a high enough point where he knows this team will trade him?
Right.
After being included in trade packages? Is this his mindset of, okay, I know this team is not going to trade me if I don't have the value necessary for them to move on? We've touched on it a lot with Zach. The situation has and still is, he has more value to this team than he does to most other teams. So
right.
The value you're going to get back is just not equal, and it doesn't really justify moving on from him unless you're doing full-blown rebuild. At this point, as a fan, as a Bulls fan, you have to hope that this approach from Zach is not because of the trade rumors and wanting to move out. It's because he realizes that past this season, this is his team. And he has slowly, at least in these last couple games since the break, is seemingly kind of started to take the reins from DeMar. And I don't know if that's because DeMar still got this lingering contusion in his thigh, or if he's playing through the hip. Not exactly sure what's going on with DeMar. Maybe he's realizing that his time here is coming to an end as well, and that the clutch era of DeMar DeRozan ball for the Bulls is not what's going to be.
What a fun era it was, huh?
Going forward. But either way, Zach has been taking this step, and as long as he continues to do this, I think the Bulls put themselves in a good position with him to either build around him and retool around him in the offseason, or to get a legitimate actual trade package that you might consider moving him for, as long as he keeps trending in this direction, because Zach's been the most efficient scorer in the league since the break.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something we haven't done in a while, and I don't know why we got away from it, but we haven't done guests in a while. And I think it's just because you and I do the show, and it's a post game and we talk about it. That's what these little fun informal ones are. And I brought somebody on, the first guest in over a year. Seriously, I went back and looked. It's been over a year, and we have not had any. Last guest was Cowley, which was a hot minute ago. This dude I become really good friends with. He writes over at On Tap with me. I mean, in you too. I know you don't write, but you're still on tap, baby. That's what I'm saying. But I'm bringing Drew on with us. Drew, what's up, man?
What's up, fellas?
So what you just missed was Zach LaVine conversation. And I know you read the article because you put the eyeballs next to it. And I was like, I did that little last part for you. I'm like, I'm not retracting my statement, but I'm seeing it now. Because Drew's a big guy into Zach LaVine. Drew, if you don't mind, man, speak on Zach from the break and from the All-Star break and really since the end of December and what you think of him going forward. What do you think do you think he's going to keep this level of play up? And if he does, I mean, obviously you should your option, right? What we've talked about a million times together, privately text messaging or whatever, retooling around him.
Yeah, I don't think he'll keep up this type of pace that he's on right now. I mean, it's true shooting is 70%. It's
even if that goes down a little bit.
I'm okay with that. Yeah. I think I tweeted out something a couple games ago where post All-Star break, he has the highest true shooting percentage of any player that's taken 18 shots. I believe he's still number one there. We'll see how that goes. But you and I talked about this. I tweeted about this. If there's anybody in that big three who I'm trying to hold on to for right now, it's Zach LaVine. It's not necessarily that I believe that he's going to all of a sudden develop into an all NBA type player, but he fits with whoever you may be able to bring in this next iteration of the Bulls is going to be. He can play theoretically with so many different guys, as long as they're not
As long as they're not
married to the mid-range.
Yeah, right. Well, Goose brought up something interesting right before you hopped on. I don't know if you were in the waiting room for that part. He asked what the newfound motivation was. And Goose, I'll start with you on that, and then we'll go to Drew. Do you think it's because he sees it becoming his team, or do you think like Pat Bev really did give him a kick? I'm not saying like Pat Bev is like this all-world leader or anything, but maybe reassurance of you're like one of the best scorers in the league when you're focused on scoring the ball. Like, do you think that is what did it for him? I mean, he's already spoken so highly of Pat Bev. I mean, I'm shooting the shit here. I have no idea why he's gotten better. Goose, I'll let you take that there.
I think it's the perfect storm of everything. I think when you sign a big contract like he did, you feel like this is going to be your home for at least that 4 years with that player option, the 5th year being there. You come into the season full in, buying into this, and the way the season starts, you have the fan base starting to turn on you during your recovery period. You have the trade deadline. You now have your front office. You have confirmation that your name was legitimately in trade talks and they were entertaining them. So
Right.
I think leading into the break, you have Zach going on vacation, kind of questioning a little bit of everything. And hopefully the answers he found are that wherever I am, I know I need to be that dude. And then you have somebody like Pat Bev who comes in, who I've referenced as a discount Lonzo Ball in the sense that he does the two things that Zoe does, the 3-point shooting availability to space, and then the point of attack defender, and also not needing the ball in his hands. I think when a guy like that's a veteran comes in the league and reassures you that you are that dude, it's a lot easier to go out and do those things.
Right. Drew, what do you think?
I think it just comes down. I've only been around him a couple times. Obviously been watching him since he's been a Bull, but I think it's even simpler than that. I think he's somebody who gets off on proving people wrong, or getting the last laugh. Now, the caveat to that, I don't know if he cherishes his individual stats in terms of being able to say that over the team.
Okay.
I hate to say that, but just given what we've seen from him and the Bulls during his career here, I think that's fair to throw out there. He's made it a point to tell us many times about how much he cares about winning. Before AK got here, that's all he talked about was never mind the All-Stars or the All-NBA accolades, because those will come hopefully when this team starts to win. But I do think it's just very simple that he likes to, or he takes pleasure in proving people wrong. And I think it makes sense from the standpoint of, we know he puts in countless hours on his offense and trying to become the best weapon he can be for a team. But I just think that's pretty much where his motivations lie. Of course, he definitely wants to win. I don't want to make it sound like he's just out here just stat padding. I know that's all the craze now to talk about in the NBA, but I do think he takes pleasure in kind of that I told you so. I knew I was going to get better and improve my numbers once my knee got healthy.
Yeah, I see. I would be all right with that, honestly. And I'm just being 100% honest. Like, I'd be okay with him wanting to prove people wrong while doing it under the umbrella of winning, and wanting to win. Zach, I mean, you saw that stat that came out, 500 games played, guys? What was it? He had like the worst winning percentage of all time or something like that in NBA history. I mean, there's a lot of players that came through in the NBA and played on some shitty teams. I mean, that's something hard to kind of wrap your head around. As I look at him, though, he's a puzzling guy to me. How professional he keeps it in all the interviews that he does. And you've been around him. And if anybody does not know here, Drew also does work for It's the Bigs. And Drew has press credentials. He gets to talk to the players here and there. He gets to talk, go into press conferences and ask Billy Donovan questions. So he's been around these guys. What I've never been. I've just watched from afar. And I can never put my finger on what he's feeling. It's like either annoyed or elated. And I don't really know if there's any in between with Zach. But if it comes down to winning, I love it.
If Zach's going to put up 35 points on a 70% true shooting because he's pissed at Billy and pissed at AK, keep poking those buttons. I don't care. Never let him feel comfortable here. Just keep trying. Just let him. If that's the motivation that he needs and that's what he thrives off of, feed it to him. Give it to him.
I mean, his numbers since December, guys, have been pretty fucking fire in general. 27 points a game, about 5.5 boards, I think it was, about 4 assists, and he's shooting 48
Do you think
49% from the field, 38% from three?
Cowley's on the same bus that Zach likes the negative attention and that fuels him? Because Cowley's pretty good with them Twitter fingers when it comes to Zach.
You think they're the cohesive unit there, talking shit to motivate him.
And he'll pull that curtain back occasionally and let you know, like, no, I know Zach's a good guy, but I'm also going to hit you with some facts. But I'm curious if Joe knows that that's part of Zach's motivation and he just keeps that fire cooking all season and off season long.
Could be. I think Joe just likes to poke at Bulls Nation more than anything, man.
Yeah,
he knows exactly the response he's going to get to these tweets. He they fall. A lot of us or a lot of people, they take the bait. Yeah.
I see it every day when Joe says something. I mean, he's even throwing bait out there about Kenny Pickett being better than Justin Fields, just to piss Bears fans off. That's just what Joe does. The Bulls moving into the 10th seed. I figure this is something I should bring up too. You guys know where I wanted to go. Goose, I'm like 99.9% sure you wanted to come with me. Drew, I know when we talked at the bar, at the Crown Royal bar at the UC, we kind of all felt the same way. I know I'm way too strong about it. I know I come off that way until I have a couple Miller Lattes. I mellow myself out a little bit. But now they're in the 10th seed. If the season were to end right now, we're in the play-in. What do you want them to do, man? They're 5 games below 500. They're in that last spot. Washington and the Pacers. Washington, is a half game back, just a half game. And Indiana is 1 full game back. So what do you want them to do here? Drew, I'll start with you and we'll go over to Goose.
I hopped on board with you guys not too long ago. It took me a while to get there, but I was really wanting them to salvage their season by improving those lottery ball odds and, stop caring about getting to the play-in, man. That's not, you get into the play-in, you got to win, depending on where you fall. Let's say they end up 10th. You got to win 2 road games.
Right.
And then you're going to be food for the Celtics or the Bucks. But I mean, they may inadvertently end up losing games anyway, because I saw somebody bring it up in the chat. They've got the 4th hardest schedule in the Eastern Conference of these.
It's so funny how that shit changes.
It's every day. It's like
every day. I can't use it to my argument anymore because, like, dude, I don't know if you remember like that 1,000-worder I wrote about how their schedule is going to be easy on out, man. It's going to be okay. Me and Goose talked about on the show. It's going to be easy. And then all of a sudden you see the Bulls have the 4th hardest schedule. I'm like, how the fuck did that happen?
That's because the easiest part of the schedule where we're dropping games and going through just lottery. That pushed us to where we were was the easy schedule was in front of us and we let it walk away. Yep. Now we've got ourselves where we wanted to be in that easy schedule with the hard schedule coming up. I think this Kings game is going to be rather telling, a team that somewhat followed the same blueprint that the Bulls went with to get Sabonis, who is obviously much younger than Vooch, but similar approach to getting somebody for their guy who they felt was Fox, to have that tandem. Unfortunately, the Kings have had a lot more sustained success with this blueprint than the Bulls did. But going up with a team with a similar dynamic and almost kind of similar style of play, I feel the Kings have a few more pieces to make it work better in terms of 3-point shooting. But I think this is a pretty telling matchup. You just won 2 in a row. You beat a good team. You beat a bad team. And now you're going to play a team that is way above you in the other conferences standings and record-wise. But I do think talent-wise and style-wise, they are a good matchup. So the way the Bulls approach this game will be pretty telling. And with 15 games left, I guess you could say that with just about every single game.
How cool is it that Sacramento is good now?
It's cool, but I hate it. Because
why?
Because you know how bad I wanted Fox in that draft.
Oh, well, I know that. I meant I know that. I meant though, like it's cool for the league. I think that's.
I mean, it's cool for the league, and as somebody who's always been a little bit of a secret Kings fan, even back to like the DeMarcus Cousins days, they've always had this kind of fun. Yeah, I mean, they've sucked forever, so they get a lot of young, exciting talent, and it makes you want to root for them. They're an underdog, and to see the underdog finally start to make that stride forward, especially with a guy like Fox, who I just love as a gamer. Would love to have that dude in a Chicago jersey.
Him and Sabonis play very well together.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fucking problem. That's like a 1-2 punch. You don't see a lot like that anymore. Like that. I mean, who's better than them in a 1-2 punch in that kind of position? I mean, obviously Harden, Embiid, guard and center. I know Sabonis is getting a lot of playing time at center this year, which is kind of odd. I always thought he was a power forward, but he's been playing a lot of center in Sacramento. I tune into a lot of their games just because of that fucking league pass. You know, you're bored and they start late. I mean, 9 o'clock usually when they start here.
Oh, so you complain when the Bulls start late, but you get excited to watch the games when they're on.
I don't make it through the game. I get through like a quarter and a half. Okay, you want to know my fucking routine, bud? Okay, hang on. Okay, hang on. Now I'm pissed off. This is what I do. I watch the Bulls game with you. We bullshit after the game for a little bit. Sometimes I'll play Call of Duty. Other times I go upstairs, I eat my Rocky Road, and I go to bed. All right, that's what I do, man. I eat my ice cream and I go to sleep. So stop pressing me.
Are you eating the Rocky Road specifically after Bulls losses?
You know what? I've noticed that it's a lot more after that happens. I put on the poundage, man. I told you when I saw you, I'm getting fucking fat. I know it. That's why I keep the beard. I got 3 chins. Got 2 chin, call me 3 chin. No, these next couple games are brutal though.
I got 2 chins, one for the beer and one for the road.
Are you proud of yourself?
I am.
Okay, I just want to check. So next 5 games, rough. Sacramento, who we just gushed over. Minnesota, who's a playoff team in the Western Conference right now, played better without Cat, which kind of surprised me a little bit. I wonder what they're going to do. Miami, Jimmy Butler's pissed off, telling reporters, fuck, I don't give a fuck and all that nonsense that he's doing. And then 2 straight against Philly. Drew, where are we at after these 5 games record-wise? You don't have to do our actual record, but out of these 5, how many we win? He's like, fuck.
Man, I want to say 1. I don't know if that's
wow,
bro.
I know.
All these teams are playing for something, man.
I know.
Not that the Bulls aren't, but oh man,
who do you got them beaten? Who do you got them beaten?
Who did I have them beaten? Maybe they get some revenge against the T-Wolves.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, Minnesota embarrassed them.
Yeah, they did.
They embarrassed them. How many you got, Goose? How many they winning?
I'm going to go Michael Jordan. We're going to go 2 and 3. I think we might get the game against the Kings. Then obviously the extra motivation that Zach has playing the Timberwolves, being the team that brought him into the league and traded him away. With the heater that he's on, I'm expecting him to show out in that game. And maybe we still 2 or 3. Maybe Embiid only plays 1 of 2 affiliates. Maybe we can get a third there. But I'm going to go with 2 and 3, and that's kind of on the optimistic side of things.
I'm going Larry Hughes and C.J. Watson with a 3 and 2, 32.
Oh, okay.
I'm going 3 and 2. So we're going to drop the Kings game. We're going to beat Minnesota. We're going to beat Miami.
That's right, because this team can't do a 4-game win streak. That's just
right. No, they know you can't. So, and I know this. That's why we're 3 and 2. So we're going to drop the Kings game. We're beating the Wolves. We're beating the Heat, and we're going to steal the 1 at home against Philadelphia. That's where I have them right now. Okay. And the reason I say that, I know people are probably like, "Oh my God, you're being optimistic." It's like, no, because they want to fuck me. I'm trying to go down. I want to lose. And I'm just being honest with everybody. I hate when the team loses. I want to win, but I want to lose because I win in the long run. I want my pick. I want it so bad. I just want that pick, man. I was watching film on them Thompson twins again. I was watching film on Scoot, watching film on Wemby. I know that's not possible probably for the Wemby thing, but getting in that top 4 is possible. And there's some
buzz. We're going to make the play in, and then we're going to lose, and then we're going to win the lottery. So Jerry's going to get what he wants. He's going to get that extra revenue, and then we're going to get what we want. We're going to get a lottery pick.
You know what? I'd be okay.
Man,
I could live with that one. I could live with that one.
Because I did do a little research into that rule. Making the play in does not take you out of the lottery if you knock a 6 through 8 seeded team out and you end up in the playoffs. The team that you knocked out ends up in the lottery. So if you're a playing team who plays your way in, you lose your lottery pick, regardless of what your record was. You are officially a playoff team. The team that you knocked out would then be in the lottery.
I gotta tell you, dude. I don't know how you guys feel about this, and I'm not trying to bring up another thing here, but how you just had to explain that, I understood what you said. I don't know why I got angry. Just stop switching my shit. 1 through 8 is enough. There's 30 teams in the league. 16 teams make the playoffs. Leave it alone. Like, why do I have a fucking play-in? Why?
You know why? Because they're not going to condense the schedule, and they got to come up with ways to
I know
make it seem like they got to draw more interest and keep teams interested.
right.
This whole tournament, midseason tournament is coming around the corner.
I don't, dude. I don't want. I'm telling you, stop changing my shit.
Well, I don't blame Philadelphia for the play-in. Their whole tanking charade kind of changed the league's whole outlook.
That's true.
How you have to present the playoffs. You have to give the mid-tier teams the hope that they can get in and a reason to continue to play at a certain point of the season. Which we didn't have to play in. We would be doing what you wanted to do.
You're a huge sports fan, you jerk. Well, we were talking about Philly, and Philly brought up, and I texted you this earlier. And Drew, I know I'm kind of throwing this on you, so I'll let Goose go first here. MVP talk. I know we just talked some Bulls and where we want to go and all that stuff. And looks like they're heading towards that plan because the basketball gods want to fuck me. But Joel Embiid versus Nikola Jokic, 2 centers for the second year in a row, fighting for an MVP. I do believe that Jason Tatum belongs a little bit in the conversation. I really do. And I think it's ignorant to say that he doesn't. He has played very well this year. Boston's a very good team, and he's been a constant. But we all know here he's not winning the MVP. It's going to be either Jokic or Embiid. Who do you want? Who do you think should? Why?
So after you sent me the text, I did a little digging. Usually the argument against Embiid is games played to this point of the season. He only has 6 less games played than Jokic. The other factor that generally comes heavy in this is your team's success. Though the Nuggets are sitting first in the West with a 6-game lead, they do have almost an identical record to Philly. I believe they both have 46 wins currently. So in that aspect, you're kind of in a wash. So I guess what conference do you think is tougher? Who has the harder schedule? Who plays the better opponents? But at the end of the day, for me, just voter fatigue and the fact that Jokic has gotten it a couple of years in a row already, I kind of lean Embiid. As long as he can keep this only 6-game discrepancy in games played, I don't think that that's enough to hold against him to say that he shouldn't get it. And just because he's averaging a career high in points and what he is doing with Philly this year, and he has been available, I would actually like to see Embiid get it. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jokic do it, the triple-double. We know how that tends to play into voting as well. It's just a stat that stands out to everybody, and it's hard to dispute. But I do think as long as Embiid finishes the season healthy, that he should probably take that trophy home.
Do you have any issue with the advanced stats playing into this as much as they do for Nikola Jokic?
In what aspect? In his favor?
Yeah, in his favor. In his favor, yes. Because I feel like they're completely disregarding the defensive side of the ball when it comes to this. And I think that both of you would say right here, right now, Joel Embiid is a very fucking good defensive player. And I don't think there's an argument to base that he's not. Do you have an issue with them using those advanced stats to kind of use that for Jokic's favor rather than Embiid? Because I feel like that happens. And I like Jokic. I think Nikola Jokic is a great player. I'm just asking you, do you have an issue with that, or do you think it's justified? If they're going to use defensive side for Embiid, can you argue the advanced analytical numbers that they use for Jokic?
I mean, if you're going to use Embiid's whole game, you got to look at Jokic's whole game, and if those analytics, show favor to that, I don't think you can ignore it.
Okay, Drew. So, what about you? Same question across the board for you.
So let me start by. It's funny you just bring that up because I'm looking at Basketball Reference.
This guy.
Both Embiid and Jokic have the same defensive win shares. They have 3.2.
Really?
Same win shares.
Basketball Reference
is the higher defensive box plus minus, whatever that means.
Right.
Jokic is at 4.4, Embiid is at 2.1.
Okay.
I don't think that Jokic is a better defender than Embiid. I think there's a lot of other things that come into play. Obviously, the guys who are next to each one of those MVP candidates. I think Aaron Gordon's had a terrific year.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that come into play there. But I think Jokic is going to get it,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm leaning toward, like Goose said, I'm leaning toward Embiid. And a lot of the reason is because he's putting up, career high points per game. He's got his team playing well, even though there's still questions about how far they really can go in the playoffs. But I think that has less to do with him and more to do with the supporting cast and how Harden's going to play. And then, like, this dude has been left off of all NBA teams, man. Like, he deserves a break, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But he's
Not
earned
about it. Embiid didn't even get in as an all-star starter this year.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's not like he missed a lot of time like that, man.
Yeah.
Like, dude, he's at 33.3 points, 10.1 boards, 4.1 assists. Now, if you're going to argue who's more valuable to their team, Jokic or Embiid, you take Embiid off that motherfucker, they're going to have a hard time. I could still see Denver. I don't know. They can't fucking stay healthy, so I really don't know. Michael Porter Jr. is always a question mark. Jamal Murray's still working his way back. I mean, it's tough. Like you guys, I think that both are deserving. I think that Jokic is more than deserving. I lean towards Embiid. I think Embiid has done more this year, for me at least, than Jokic has. I mean, yes, averaging a triple-double in the NBA, and I'm so sick of, like what you said earlier, Drew, the stat padding thing. You don't fucking walk into a triple-double. Because if you did, everybody would do it. Here and there. Like it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. I know it's a different game these days.
This isn't Russell Westbrook with Steven Adams standing there boxing out the whole team grabbing the board. That's not the case here. Right. I guess my question for both of you would be, who do you think has the better number two? You touched on Denver's. You touched on Denver's issues. Obviously, James Harden is a name that you would probably assume would be the answer just by the cachet that he carries.
Yeah.
But who has the better number two this year?
Fuck, that's so tough, dude, because MPJ and Murray and Aaron Gordon. Who's the number two in Denver, really?
I would almost say Gordon this year.
They all go off. They all have like these times where they go off. Yeah. So I guess a consistent number two, to your point, would be, I guess, Harden.
The recency bias is getting me with the Nuggets in the sense that MPJ sat out almost the whole fourth quarter and then was put in the last 20 seconds and was asked about how you get a rhythm in that situation, and he pretty much just said, you don't. So I don't know that you can consider that guy your number two if he's ever sitting out at the end of the game.
I agree with that.
Intentionally. And like you said, Murray's kind of still recovering, coming back, really not back to full form. So
not like he was.
The number two would be Aaron Gordon. When I start saying that, I almost want to change my answer. Because
I never thought about it. Dude, I never really considered that. That's crazy, man. Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's Harden, right?
I think so. And it's funny because when we talk about Harden and Gordon, those are two guys who created a lot of noise by being snubbed for the All-Star game. So it's a good argument, man. It's a good argument or a good question.
Yeah, that's fucking tough. Yeah, I go Harden. Harden's the best number two, but I think the more complete team is Denver.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Maxey and Harden, Tobias Harris too. I mean, God, they're both really good teams.
It's weird that I almost forget about Tobias Harris so often, given how enormous his contract is and the whole storyline behind that.
Oh, yeah,
I forget that he's in Philly more times than not. And then I turn and go, oh, yeah, there he is.
I got one more.
Max, man. What did Jimmy say? They gave him the max?
Yeah.
They kept him.
Yeah. Jimmy Butler's something else, man. I got one more thing that I want to bring up that I find interesting. And that actually has to do with tonight. So if you didn't know, on ESPN right now, it's on my other screen. Weird flex there.
Which other screen? You have multiple.
That's true. You should see it when I've been drinking. There's a ton down here.
Do you have like the Iron Man setup where you're just like using your hands and you're just...
No, I wish. My buddy's got a setup where he's got like the touch screen stuff. I don't have that.
Buzz has got to spin in his chair. He's got TV flying around the whole basement. He's just got to do 360s.
I just keep doing 360s the whole time so I can keep up. But the Mavericks and the Grizzlies are on right now, and the Grizzlies are starting to kick the shit out of them. All right? Mm-hmm. Are you surprised that Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, they already lost 104-88, sat out again? You think they're that hurt to sit out where they're now a game under 500? Just wanted to ask that real quick. Like I said, this was shooting the shit talk tonight, too. This was fun Bulls talk, fun NBA shooting the shit talk. 35 minutes went by like that. Drew, I'll start with you. What the hell's going on in Dallas? And why are those two? I mean, are they really that hurt?
It felt like, I don't know, Dallas's cap sheet or who had money on the books and who was coming off the books, yada, yada, yada. But I feel like with Luka allegedly making noise about having help, I feel like that was just a home run cut with Kyrie forcing his way out of Brooklyn and them just hoping for the best because they gave up some nice complimentary pieces who you could argue supported Luka better and may have been we saw it last year, may have been a better fit in terms of getting that team as far in the playoffs as they can go. I don't know, man. It's those midseason trades are tricky because you got to try to coalesce and get things working in the right way. And Luka's never had, whereas Kyrie's had a player in Kevin Durant and LeBron James and a young Tatum to a certain degree where he's had to kind of learn how to play with somebody who needed the ball as much as he did. Luka has never had that. So I think his process of adapting to that was automatically going to take some time, and they're running out of time to really make some noise in that Western Conference, I think.
I can't believe they sat out. They've lost 3 in a row.
So I feel the Luka injury, MRI comes back clean. Report is, he'll be back as soon as possible when pain allows. I think the Kyrie sitting out tonight is part of what Drew touched on, and their biggest goal is to get cohesion, to get those two guys to glue together. And with as polarizing as Kyrie is as an athlete, to have him out there on his own after acquiring him, losing, I just feel like that creates so much of a negative storyline that you're just like, Luka ain't playing, Kyrie, you can sit. We don't need the negative. When you both are available, we'll see if we can make this work kind of thing. But maybe more so just precautionary. Kyrie tries to do too much without Luka, ends up hurting himself long term. Probably just that we're not our best team without both of them anyway. So if one's sitting out, might as well let the other one get some rest too.
Oh, they both do better without each other more than half the time. That's what you know what I'm saying. That's why I'm trying to figure out why the fuck if that is the case, why the Lakers are half a game beneath them in the Western Conference right now. New Orleans
is Bron back yet?
No, not yet. No, he's gonna be back right when they fucking get ready to play off.
No, yeah. So no. How's that storyline going? I saw. I'm not gonna make the comment that I was gonna make because that's rude. I saw somebody on Twitter tweeting like, hey, since Russ has been gone, this is what the Lakers have done. And there are X amount of games won without LeBron. And it's like, okay, so Russ and LeBron are gone and the team is winning. So are we sure the problem is just Russ?
I actually don't think so. I think that listen, LeBron's the best player, one of the best players in the league, no doubt about it. I don't like him. And I don't like him for petty reasons. I want to say that right now. He seems like a good dude.
But this year, he breaks his record. His buddy AD, who's pretty responsible for that bubble championship, is sitting on the bench, not even applauding, and he's asked after the game what needs to change, and he goes, win.
Right. So AD hasn't been playing that great either. During the Lakers are 7-3 in their last 10, and AD ain't been real. Dude, D'Angelo Russell just came back. He's dropping fucking 40
and Troy Brown Jr.
I still can't get over how they turned shit into diamond with those trades at the deadline. I still can't get over it. The pieces that got put around them, especially when they're going to be healthy, are so complimentary that I do think they're a fucking problem. I do think they're going to be a problem because I still believe that LeBron's a top 10 player in the NBA, and I believe AD is a top 20 player in the NBA. So they're going to be a problem once they get healthy, for sure. But no, he's not back yet.
Where do you put D'Lo?
Is top what? As a player?
Yeah, as a player.
I mean, he's no Kirk Heinrich. He's all right. But
Jesus Christ.
What? Why is that always met with such resistance on this show?
It's funny you say that because I literally had a Twitter argument with somebody which led to me having to defend Gar Pax in their drafting scenario and them trying to tell me that Kirk Heinrich wasn't good. And I'm like, oh, shit. I shit on Buzz all the time, and now I got to stand up for this guy and say, no, he holds some franchise records. I think if you get that guy outside of the top 5 in a draft, you probably picked pretty well.
Remember we were arguing with, I'll slap the shit out of him. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. We don't promote violence here.
I think
we do.
Philo in the top 50.
Yeah, he's a good player. I mean, look, hey man, if he can
think
create
he's
and play his role,
underrated. I think he's severely underrated.
He looked real. The best he's ever looked in his career to me was Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
When he was in Brooklyn, and they remember when they made that playoff run. Like that was like some of the best basketball I've ever seen him play. But then he got shipped around. He went to Golden State for a hot minute. Then he went to Minnesota. Then now he's back in LA.
Yeah, can you be top 50 if you got traded for Wiggins before you became championship Wiggins? I don't know.
That's very true.
Top 75?
Yeah, I would say yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
it feels safer.
Yeah, that does feel safer. But I mean, seriously though, that Mavericks situation's fucked. You got Los Angeles right behind him, New Orleans right there. I know Zion's not coming back anytime soon, but if he was, they'd have a problem. Zion Williamson averaging 26.5 games per season.
Man,
that's fucked. And that guy got paid. He got paid. I'd like to have him too, right? He's exciting. But, dude, Ja Morant looks like and I know he's going through some shit right now. He'll be back.
So, and what is the story with Ja?
Like he's in Florida right now and he's learning. You leave him alone.
Snapchat's telling me 50 games is official. Twitter's telling me 50 games is not official.
No, 50 games is not official because they cannot prove that thing was on the team plane and he's not been convicted by a police department. Anybody that's trying to push that narrative,
I saw that the police department's let it go.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
There's no evidence. The owner of the club has come out and said he's an outstanding gentleman. He doesn't even drink.
That's
he just throws $50,000 around.
What do you mean? I'd call him an outstanding gentleman too if I fucking made double my revenue in a day. Where was he when that happened?
He's in a gentleman's club spending $50,000. I guess that it automatically makes you a gentleman.
I don't know. I hope Ja comes back, but like the league is better with Ja Morant in it because I had like this whole thing. Fun thing here at On Tap that we haven't really said much of yet. I was thinking about starting an NBA section here because, I mean, Drew, I know you watch more basketball than just the Bulls. You know, like I watch a ton of basketball. Goose, I know you watch a ton of basketball. I wanted to start writing about different things within the NBA, and I had like this whole piece in my mind is why Ja Morant should be the MVP of the NBA this year. Thank God I didn't prematurely shoot my wad there because obviously we saw what happened. That can mean spit, you fucking nasties, all right? Get that out of the gutter. I'm a father of 3. All
Not
right,
on this show.
But Memphis is still a 2 seed, you know. Like I thought Ja was going to do some great things. That Western Conference became a lot more fun as the season went on than it started. I'll tell you that much right now.
It's kind of weird to see the Nuggets have that much of a cushion up top after dropping in a row.
It is.
Drew, do you think Jokic's style of play is boring?
It's very Tim Duncan-ish.
Did you love Tim Duncan?
I didn't love to watch Tim Duncan, no.
No, but I didn't like to watch Tim Duncan either, but he was fucking good, though.
He was awesome. Awesome. It's just one of those things where it's like, I feel like you got to really appreciate certain nuances of the game to sit and watch a 48 minutes of Denver Nuggets basketball with Nikola Jokic. Now, I will say this. I really don't watch a whole lot of other NBA basketball besides the Bulls. Like, I wish there was more than 24 hours in a day. But that game that they were here earlier in the season where they just cooked the Bulls, it was crazy to see how much he impacted the game without even shooting the basketball. Like, that was weird, man.
Yeah, he creates so well for his teammates, and that's the thing. Is like I remember I was telling you at the game when we were playing Indiana, you know, like watching Halliburton run that offense. I know you left before the game started, but we were talking about his prior games.
Mm-hmm.
Watching Halliburton run an offense with everybody else moving without the ball is something I wish the Bulls did, and they had done that at one time. Like just the movement on the court, it's never so stagnant. And when you watch Denver, I don't think there's a team in the league that does it better than them. Everybody's constantly moving. Everybody's constantly cutting. Everybody's constantly getting to their spots. And Jokic commands so much attention. That's why they're fucking sitting at 46 and 22. That's amazing. God, I just changed my argument too. It's Jokic.
I think it helps too that those guys on the Nuggets, Jokic's teammates, know that he's going to be looking for them if they move without the ball.
Right.
With here in Chicago, while I wouldn't necessarily call Levine and DeRozan selfish, they can see red in not always the best way. So
ultimate competitors, my turn, your turn ball never works.
yeah. Kind of that Mamba mentality, the whole I'm putting this on my shoulders. Like,
right.
I don't care how many people are coming over and gravitating toward me. I'm throwing this up, and we're gonna live and die by my shot, one way or the other.
Right. Yeah, that's just.
Did you guys see that clip of DeMar playing defense?
Why you gotta do that?
Because
no, why you gotta do that,
because
man? That's it. You're ignorant for that.
I'm ignorant for that. I mean, we're doing a bull show. I mean,
I love DeMar, man.
I love DeMar, but the way Zach's playing and the way DeMar is playing,
I agree with you there. But I gotta tell you, for him being here for not even 2 full years yet, he became quickly one of. I swear to God, man, he's become one of my favorite players to wear a Bulls uniform ever. I know that sounds so crazy to say that. I don't know if that's more upsetting for the franchise.
Buzz, we were so deprived for a half decade. It makes perfect sense.
That's very true. I mean, who was I cheering for before? Fucking Walt Lemon Jr. and Ryan Arcidiacono. It's not like I had a lot to fucking really go for there.
Don't forget Cristiano Felicio.
Don't forget Jerry and Grant.
Denzel Valentine.
Yo, when we saw him at the G League game, like, I'm just looking at him. I'm like, I don't think you're good enough to be here either. You know, like I
saw a tweet the other day and somebody literally put the words, "It kills me to see Denzel Valentine in the G League" on Twitter. And I was like, wow.
You know that was Denzel tweeting that.
You clearly have not wanted to play basketball since Michigan.
That's a fucking burner account. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, that was Denzel? Okay, that would make
sense. It was Denzel. Dude, that clip just came up the other day when Adam Amin goes, "That is not the shot in that situation." And Stacey's, I would have paid money just to look at Stacey's face for that segment of like just the irritation.
They gave you Miami?
Yeah, he pulled up in Miami.
I'd have to say that Denzel's G League success was both the height of his career and also the downfall of his career because it just instilled a little bit too much confidence coming.
God, what a go around it's been. Well, boys, it's been almost an hour. Drew, I thank you so much for coming to hang out with us tonight.
Thank you guys, man. Thank you for having me, man.
I just love shooting the shit, and it's so much easier to shoot the shit when there's not a game. And like the NBA has been fun this year. The Bulls are in a fun spot, kind of. You know what I mean? Like they're almost gonna get there, but they're almost where I want them to be. So like it works out great. But Drew, please tell everybody where to follow you on Twitter and all of your work.
Man, just check me out on Twitter at Look What Drew Did. Of course, I write for On Tap Sportsnet with Buzz. Look for my work on Twitter as well with It's the Bigs, doing locker room reaction, post-game press conferences with Billy Donovan. I love to shoot the shit too, man. So, come talk to me. Tweet me. I tweet back. I promise I tweet back.
Follow Drew. He's a great follow on Twitter. We became great friends because of basketball. And I love the fact that we got to have you on. Goose, I know you have to get a car. He kicked the fucking thing. He always does that. Every time we're getting ready to leave. Like, he says he can hear me right now. If you can hear me, I'm ashamed of you.
Did he pull a Jimmy Butler?
Yeah, I think he just fucking left.
He left before the clock expired?
Yeah, that's a fine. Tony's going to fucking fine him, I think. See, he'll be back in here in 3 seconds. Or if he won't be, I guess I'll just close it out. I really don't give a shit. There he is.
You can't find somebody who doesn't make millions. I'm sorry. It does not work that way.
Okay.
You gave me my out. You said Goose has got to go. I left. What do you want?
I said Goose has to go bring his car in. Any parting words? And then you fucking prematurely just left on.
No parting words. Goose has got to go.
Okay. Well. Everybody have a great night. Thank you for joining our unconventional episode of Bulls on Tap. You know where to follow all of us at Look What Drew Did, at Goose on Tap, at Buzz on Tap. We'll be back Wednesday after the Bulls take on the Sacramento Kings. Let's go Bulls.